Hey, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly crafting, cooking, and organic gardening videos right here on my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to put together this really cute advent calendar. It's from a pre-printed fabric panel. It's part of Happy Christmas. It's a fabric line put out by Northcott Fabrics. And thanks to our friends at Northcott, we have 2 free fabric panels for the advent calendar to give away. Now, I know it's a little late to get started on an advent calendar this year since December's almost halfway through, but it's such an easy panel to put together and a great project to work on with your kids that I figured I'd still offer up the tutorial and give away 2 panels. That way, if you do put it together this year, you'll already have yours done for next year. Now let's jump right into making our advent calendar. So here is the advent calendar panel. It's the Happy Christmas line by Northcott Fabrics, and I'll show you the information here in case you want to contact your local quilt shop and see if they're still carrying the line. You can visit Northcott also at northcott.com. It's a really cute panel because everything that you need to put together the front of the calendar itself is included in this one panel. First, I'll show you, this is going to be the front of it, everything inside of this red border. Then you have all the pockets. More importantly, we have the instructions on how to put it together, which are included in the panel right here, and I'm going to show you how to do it in this tutorial. Then I also love that it includes a little label for you to use a permanent fabric pen or marker, and you can write here the date and who it's for. And so to get started, the first thing we're going to do is cut around this outside red border, and that's going to give us the front, and I've done that here already for you. You can see it's a nice size. So the exact measurements are going to be about 18.5 inches by 28, so it's a nice size. Then after you cut out the calendar panel, the next thing to do is to cut out each individual pocket. And there's no specific line around it. All you have to do is just keep an eye out for where the 2 colors or the 2 squares, right where they meet up. Okay, so you're going to cut each one of those out individually, and you should end up with 25 like this. And now, what we need to do is prep our pockets for stitching. So let's do that. To prep our pockets, we're going to take a look here at the seam allowance allotted on the sides of the square. To the left and to the right and at the bottom, there's only 1/4 inch seam allowance, but at the top there's 1/2 inch. And the reason for that is because this is going to be the top part of the pocket, and we need to do a simple hem here to make sure that we have no raw edges showing up at the top. So to do that, I'm going to turn this with the pretty side of the pocket down. I'm going to turn this edge under 1/4 inch and press it in place. And then I'm going to repeat the process, turn it under again another 1/4 inch. After you do that, the next step is to top stitch this edge down. So take a coordinating thread and you're just going to top stitch this down. You want to stitch close to the folded edge to keep this from lifting up. And then you're going to do that to all your pieces. Okay, so I finished doing that to all of my pieces, and here's a little tip. Instead of stopping, stitching, and cutting your thread after every single individual one, to save yourself some time and thread, I just do it in a strip piecing method where I stitch one and then I just feed the next one through and keep going and keep going. So I do one continuous line without having to stop or back stitch or anything. And you don't have to back stitch because these ends here are going to be concealed when we turn the sides under, okay? So now we just need to quickly go through and cut the little threads in between to separate all our little square pockets out. Now I have all my pockets individually cut out, and as much as I'd like to save time, the quilter in me still wants to go ahead and press each one of these down after sewing any seam. Just hit each one. Now for the next step, I like to do it all in one shot, so I'll show you what I'll do. Get my panel here ready, so that as I press the seams under, I'm just going to go straight to the panel right here and pin it in place. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take one pocket, and now what we need to do is turn under the sides and the bottom. You're going to turn it into where that line is, telling you your seam allowance, the 1/4 inch. So just turn it up to the line, press it in place. Okay, so I've turned in the sides and the bottom, okay? So when we turn it over, you can see how it's going to create our little pocket here. And so right now, as I'm done pressing this, I'm going to go right to the one that it matches and then pin it in place. I'm going to continue to do this until I have all 25 of my pockets pinned on. Then I'll go straight to my sewing machine, and right from there I can top stitch every single one on. Now I just need to go and top stitch each one of the pockets down. I'm going to start on one end, right? Make sure that I back stitch at the top because it's going to be a pocket. You want the stitches up top here on both sides to be able to hold from all the wear and tear from people tugging at the pocket. You don't want it to just come off. And you want to stitch close to that outside edge. I'm going to take a few stitches, then I'm going to back stitch. stop a little bit of the waste from the edge and pivot with the needle in. I lifted up my presser foot so I can move my fabric around, and I'm going to put it back down and continue the top stitching. Remembering to take those back stitches at the end. Okay, and I have one pocket done. You can see right there, cute little pocket, and then I'm going to do that to the other 24. So now that I've sewn down all the pockets, I'm just going to hit it with a hot iron just to set all those seams. Now you're going to want to cut out a coordinating piece of fabric to the same size, okay? Something that matches the exact size of this. So we have our backing, and then this step is optional. If you want to, you can cut out a coordinating piece of batting if you want to, and that's just going to help give the calendar a little more body. You guys know that I'm a quilter, so I can't go without my batting, so I'm definitely going to do that. So I have the batting. First is my first layer at the bottom. Then I put the backing fabric with the pretty side of the fabric facing up. And now I'm going to take my advent calendar and put it with the pretty side and all those pockets facing down. Match up all your edges, and then we're going to pin around all four sides. After you've pinned, you want to go ahead and take some kind of marking device and mark yourself a section here, about 4 to 5 inches, just to remind yourself not to stitch in this area because we need to leave an opening to turn the whole calendar inside out. Now with these 2 marks here, I'm going to start on one of them, back stitch to secure my stitches, then I'm going to stitch down one side, pivot when you get to the corner, go all the way around using that 1/4 inch seam allowance until I come around to the other side, and then I have to remember to back stitch there as well. Everything's sewn around. All I have open here is this opening at the bottom. And so what I want to do now is clip my corners, and I'm just clipping perpendicular to that corner seam line there. Just going to help us turn out all those corners nicely and help reduce bulk. Repeat that on all 4 corners. Now let's turn the calendar inside out. Now we just have to line up the seams on the side here and give it a good press. For the opening, I've just turned in the raw edges under about the 1/4 inch, the same as our seam allowance, and I've pressed it in place. So I'm going to go back in and just hand stitch this closed, or you can also machine stitch it. And so at this stage, it's pretty much done. All you would need to do is just the final touches. If you wanted to do some quilting on here, you can do some now. You can do some hand quilting, which is probably what I'll do here with some embroidery thread. You can get creative and do whatever you want. If you're going to do it on machine, you may want to do like a straight stitch, you know, just straight with your walking foot quilting around here on the blue sections just to frame out the pockets. If you plan to wash your advent calendar, you definitely want to go ahead and do some quilting on it because we have a large piece of batting in here that's not being held down every 6 to 8 inches or so. So you want to do either some quilting in here, or maybe some straight lines. You can just do straight lines going down this way, and definitely do at least a little bit of quilting up here to help keep all 3 layers together. Then to hang it up on the wall, you can really do whatever you want. You can add a quilt sleeve back here and then use a rod to hang it up on the wall. You can add like little fabric tabs and hooks or whatever you want, any hardware that you want to hang it up on. Then for the quilt label, if you didn't mind losing the little frame out here with the little stars on the corners, you can always turn the sides in like this and stitch them into place just like we did for the pockets, and then just hand stitch that down to the back of your quilt. Or you could also fuse this to paper-backed fusible web and fuse it onto your backing fabric and then do like a zigzag stitch around the edges to encase all these raw edges. And I would do that before I put the whole thing together, obviously, because if I stitch this on and you stitch through all the layers, it's going to show on the front. So you would do that to the back, just to the backing fabric by itself. So that's it. It wasn't that hard to put together. It's really cute, and I hope that you all will consider entering the giveaway so you can win your own panel. To enter the giveaway, all you need to do is click the subscribe button above to make sure you don't miss out on any of the new videos I post here to my channel. And then also, I'd like for you to leave me a comment below this video here on YouTube, letting me know how you plan to use your new advent calendar once you win it. Keep in mind that this giveaway is going to be a short and sweet one. I'm only going to have it open for 48 hours. The reason for that is that I want to get these shipped off to the winners as soon as possible, so you'd still have at least half of the month of December this year to use your calendar if you did want to. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit it with the thumbs up below. Feel free to share it across the different social media sites, and good luck. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.